Hi, and welcome to the Tali Loz podcast where we discover spirituality together. Today I've got with me Basia, who is a Reiki practitioner, Akashic record reader, and a counselor. But before we start, she found a beautiful quote from Nikola Tesla.
Hi everyone. So Nikola Tesla said, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe, there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration." And that's what is called the Akashic field, the Akashic Records.
Beautiful. And that's what we're going to start with. So, yes, tell me a little bit about yourself first.
So, hello everyone. My name is Basia Josik, and I recently graduated counseling, so I'm counselor at the moment. And before that, I was a Reiki practitioner and Akashic Records reader, as Laura mentioned before.
Definitely. Today we're going to specifically talk about the Akashic Records. So tell me, what is it?
So, Akasha, in general, it means space and ether. So this is something we can't open the door and just be in the Akashic records. As here on planet Earth, we are in the 3D dimension, and the Akashic records are stored in the higher realms. Where in the higher realms there is no judgment, it's just pure unconditional love. So all the informations we receive from the Akashic records are from this higher perspective of unconditional love and no judgment and no duality. So Akashic records, they are also called Book of Life.
Wow, that sounds beautiful.
Yes, so that's mean in this Book of Life, which everything is stored about our soul. It's our past lives, as well all the experiences we have lived in this life. So our past, our present, and our future, and as well the future possibilities of our soul.
Right. So it's like when some people say, like, oh, it's already written out, it's already written in the universe. Then that is sort of the Akashic ether. It's like the Google of your soul, basically.
Yes, that's very well said. It is like a Google of our soul, like that everything is written about us. As we know, our body is just temporary, and it is a vessel for our soul, which is infinitive. And it's like, so in these records, it's all written from the moment we've been created as a soul.
Right.
Which is very, very fascinating, and it's very interesting, and we can find out like everything, basically.
Does it also store the physical past lives? Is it all the lives of the soul?
Yes.
Yes. Wow. So
everything.
So
we can go to our past lives, and we can find out how those past lives influencing our life now, for example, because we do have some karmic deeds and the decisions what we made in the past lives, they might affect us in this life as well.
Right.
So it's very helpful to know what we've been doing in our past lives. And usually when we find out this, it all makes sense. It's just like incredible, like all the feelings we had, it all just makes sense once we know our past lives as well.
Right. So it's almost like a therapy. You can use it in a therapeutical way as well. If people have struggles in their lives or are a bit stuck with themselves, then you can help to read their records, and perhaps it's like you said, karmic energy, and you can discover patterns and that kind of stuff. But it's also quite interesting. You're a counselor now as well, so that works really well together when you help people.
Yes, to be honest, whenever I do the Akashic readings, there is always, I need to use my counseling skills, which is like amazing how those two things can go well together, how psychology and spirituality, it should go well. And I feel like all people who are doing some psychological work, psychotherapy, they should include the aspect of the soul, because it's so important, as we are a soul.
Yes,
basically.
yes, we are a soul. And how can it help a person? How do you help a person? How does a reading look like when they come to you?
So, so how accessing Akashic records can help us? It can help us in so many ways. For example, if you want to find out how we can be aligned more with our soul, we can also get the information access from the field, from the Akashic field. But also we can find out about if we are like feeling we are in some cycle and we are constantly doing the same things and we are trapped in the pattern.
Right.
And we don't know what to do. So from the Akashic field, from the Akashic reading, we can find out what is the root of the problem. So if someone has a relationship issues, financial issues, or even health issues, once we know the root of the problem, then we know kind of what to do, and we're shifting our perspective.
Right.
So then when we know what is the root of the problem, then we can make different decision. And by making different decision, we get different outcome. And this is how we can break out through the cycle, break out through the pattern we've been experiencing from our life.
Right.
Which is so important, because it's like karma, because once we know the problem, once we know what we can change, so it's, of course we have a free will.
Yes.
We can change it or we can be stuck forever.
Yes, definitely.
We can choose.
Yes.
But once we have this information, it usually happens that we just changing and we making different decisions, and then we no longer attract this type of people in our life, this situation in our life, because we have learned the lesson.
Yes.
What we had to learn.
It sort of like opens up your life perspective, and then hopefully with you helping the people to read their records, to put them on a different path from their own free will, because it's their own choice still, and it's up to them if they want to listen. But I assume when they come to you to say, Basia, can you please help me with this, they are looking for something, isn't it? They don't, I assume they are. People will always be looking for something, for some answers.
Yes.
Yes, and you can help them with that.
Yes.
And how do you access the records? Like, what is there a ritual? Do you use tools, or how do you do that?
So myself, when I started learning about the Akashic records, I found a book. It's a book of Gabrielle Orr. She is writing everything, like step by step, how you can access your own Akashic records. So, and as well, I had a friend, she was also interested with this, and we've been practicing on each other. And then I started practicing on other people. And I guess once you read the book, then it just requires lots of practice and belief.
Yes.
Because as well, what I have noticed, sometimes I was kind of like sabotaging myself. I was receiving vision, I was receiving like strong feeling, information, but then I was disbelieving it.
So you're going against your own intuition, really?
Yes. I was like disbelieving. I was like, no, this is not true. Like, I think I'm getting crazy. So it just really requires like self-belief that this, what you receive, is the truth. And as you said, it's like really being connected with your intuition and your instincts, believing them, that they are right.
Right, okay. So if someone comes to your reading, then you sit down, I assume, or does the person have to lie down or sit? And it doesn't really matter their position.
I mean, usually I do readings via Skype or
okay.
Zoom. So we just so the person can sit down.
They can just sit down.
They just ask me questions, and then I usually don't see them. I don't look at them. I need to look up.
Okay.
So it's kind of the way I receive the visions. And then the moment I receive the vision or like very strong feeling in my body, I pass the information to them. So I pass the answer to them, what I have received.
Okay. And do you have to have some sort of like clairvoyance or clairaudience for that you can only do, or can everyone learn how to access the records?
That's the thing. This is our birthright. We all can do it. We all can access it. It's just we need to believe that we can do it, and it just takes practice.
Yes, right. And so, where does it come from? When did it sort of started, the history of the Akashic reading? Does it come from Buddhism, or does it come from any religion, or was it?
To be honest, I just think it's like it's just been being there forever. And each kind of religion could take it and interpret in their own way, and word it in their own way. But at the end, it's like all the same.
It's all the same, yes.
Yeah.
And has it anything to do with chakras as well, with chakra practice? Because you talk about intuition and vision, I always think about like the third eye comes to mind. And are they connected? Do you have to open up your chakras, or is it a completely different discipline?
Like from my point of view, how I understand this, it's all really to do with our instincts and with our intuition. Because once we kind of believe in our intuition, then it's easier for us to receive the messages. Easier for us to understand them, and we can receive them through vision or through strong feeling. And it's like people say it's like a gut feeling, or like it's instincts. It's my instincts. It's something like my intuition tells me something. Right. So this is those messages that comes from our field, and it can be very easy. For example, people can start practicing connecting with their Akashic field by asking questions. Because the more we ask questions, then we receive the answer. But to receive the answer, we just need to be aware and observant of the environment, of what's going on. Because, for example, we can ask ourselves a question. I want to know something, and then for a few days forget about this question. And it may happen that we hear a song in the radio. Yes. And there are certain words that we just now know, this is it, this is my answer. Or we overhear a conversation of some strangers talking, and we just hear some sentence that we just know this is the answer. Or with a friend, the friend just tells us something straight away, and it was like
meant to be.
Yeah.
Right, so those kind of messages also come from the records.
Yes.
It's not literally here and then, and only when you're connected to the record. It can be anytime, any place.
Anytime, yes, any place, and we are always connected. We're just not aware of it, but now, while we talk about that, hopefully everyone will be. We are all connected to it. Right. We just need to work with it with intention.
Right, you have to channel it, like when you do Reiki, that you also channel to certain vibes.
Yes.
Yes, right. Yes. Okay, that's really interesting. So it could even be that you have multiple questions. There's so much going on. Well, if I talk for myself, I've got so much going on in my head, and ideally I want all the answers right now, but obviously it's impossible for my brain to cope with all of those at the same time. But it could also be that the records then give me the answers when the time is right.
Yes.
Is that sort of how I can see it as well, that the records know the questions that I have, but they will not give it to me until the time is right, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, it comes into my head, and that's where the answer is.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I feel this is how you said.
Yes.
That we receive the information when we are ready for them.
Right.
And that's as well. It kind of requires patience from us, and how we can learn not to overwhelm ourselves with the answers we want to know, and this takes the practice of being patient. That we can get the message when we are ready for it.
Yeah. And when you channel to the records at a specific time, when you do reading, can it also be dangerous? Can you also either open up purgatory, for example, or could you also get warnings for your clients, and that you decide not to give the information through?
When I receive the messages for my clients, and the clients asking me for the message, and I see the message, I need to give them answer, because it's came to me and I have to do it.
Mm.
Sometimes it happens that I just don't see nothing. So it's mean they're not meant to know yet.
Right.
If I don't see nothing, I can't figure it out. I can't make up myself nothing.
Yeah.
I just need to tell them I don't see anything. So it's me, they are not ready.
Right.
But everything what I see, I need to pass it on, the information.
Yes. Okay. When you open up the channel, can it bring down evil energies or not?
I mean, because this is energy work.
Yes.
So we are playing here with different type of energies, and there is like totally different energies, and we just need to. That's why the intuition it comes along because we need to feel it.
Yes.
And we need to be aware of it, and we need to protect ourselves always by protecting our aura, closing our aura, so we are transparent to other lower energies. So always when I do the reading for a client, I protect myself, but also I make an intention for a client to protect their aura. So during the reading, we are all safe.
Right, you're protected.
Only the good, the messages come from the good source, not from
the bad
energies that want to manipulate me and the client.
Yes.
So this is also some kind of like a dangerous side of it, but we just need to be aware of it.
Yes. Yeah, and I think when you practice, like you said, you first practice on yourself. So everybody can open their own records. And then you practice on friends, the people that you know that can sort of deal with it, and then you learn all the protections as well.
Yes.
The protection spells, let's call them that way. So how can we channel to our own records?
So people can start practicing, like I mentioned before, like asking question and seeing how the answer comes to them. But of course, if like someone wants to get the answer straight away and having like a strong vision and like knowing straight away what is it, so this requires practice. So then definitely I would start with the book of Gabriel Orr.
Yeah,
that's how I started. Then practicing on yourself through the guidance of Gabriel Orr, and practicing on others, and as well doing meditations, and also what is important in this work, to working on yourself, because the more aware we are of ourselves, then we are becoming a clear channel to pass the messages for others, for example.
Okay.
Because then I pass it clear message I receive, not through my ego or my own kind of wishes, what I want to say. It's just the pure kind of channel. So it's very important in this type of work. So the therapist work on themselves first.
Yes, so you have to be quite balanced, and quite, you need to be able to be neutral when you work with clients. Otherwise you might manipulate.
Yes.
Intentionally or unintentionally, the energies and the messages coming through.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And what kind of tools do you use to protect yourself? Actually, do you use like sage or crystals or spells or?
I also have some of Tali Loz crystals before I always start the reading, and I always recommend clients to have their own crystals, whatever they resonate at the moment. I light the candle and I do meditation before. So the meditation, which I do before the reading, is for my protection. I just do like a visualization that I protect my energy field, and the energy field comes from my own heart. I kind of like wrap it up myself with this energy, and this energy, it makes me transparent for the other energies.
Yes.
So only pure light, pure energy can come to me. And the same I visualize for the client as well.
Yeah, I think because you did tell me about your ritual before, because I had a reading with you.
Yeah.
And I asked about the protection. And at the time I was still having anxiety attacks as well. And when you told me about that, you visualize when you're sort of transparent, it really helped me in public places, especially on the tube before Corona, where everybody's like a sardine in these machines. I think it's a very good visualization to, for protection. It's like I'm invisible and these people are just, they can't see me, they can't touch me and everything. Yeah, and it's really helped me. It's a very beautiful, for me, it really helped the visualization to calm myself down in very busy places, like the tube before Corona.
That's amazing. It is very powerful. If we really believe it, it's really powerful.
Yes.
And it's very important to use the word as well, transparent.
Yes.
To lower energies. It's like, honestly, it's really works.
It's really working. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, especially to lower energies. Yeah, that's a good thing, because the good vibes you still want to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the lower ones that don't do you any good, or they don't help you really. Then you'll be transparent to them.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a very good way, I think. So it's very helpful to people. It's a sort of therapy from what I've learned from you today. And how do people find you, or how, if they don't, if they live on the other side of the world, for example, how would they find the right reader? Because I assume it's very important to have a good reader. How can people find you? And if they live on the other side of the world, how would they start to find someone else to help them with this?
I guess because everything is happening online, so they can still come to me.
Online, yes.
But as well, it's all intuition.
Right.
Like, they need to resonate with the person. If they feel like, oh, something is wrong, I don't trust this person, then it's a no.
Yes.
It's just the feeling. If the person trusts, I think the trust is the most important, because this is such a very sensitive thing, someone going into your energy field.
Yes, definitely.
It's very important to be aware who you let in your energy.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because you'll be very fragile. You'll be very delicate as well, because they can see everything, or not everything, but a lot. You can see a lot.
Yeah.
And you have a beautiful website. It's called healyourmindbodyandsoul.com. I will also put that in the description for people. And so people can contact you via your website as well.
Via my website, my Instagram is basia.josic, and
people can find
mainly
you.
I'm on Instagram at the moment.
Yeah, you're working still a bit on your website. And I do know you're also working with Becky, who we had earlier in the podcast, the second episode, for the Flow of Light community.
Yes.
And you also do the sound healing, and you write meditations as well. And I said to Becky on the podcast, but you already know that I love your writing, the way you write meditations. She's very good, people. She's very good. And so the Flow of Light community, is it also possible to do a Akashic reading for multiple people at the same time when you're in a circle, or is it really a one-to-one thing?
To get like a proper information, in-depth information, so it's one-to-one.
Yes.
And in the circle, I guess I might receive messages from their Akashic field as well, but it comes very through the intuition, more like a kind of more, I don't know how to say, more like in a subtle way.
Right.
Subtle way.
Yes.
Not like a proper vision, like when I do one-to-one, but more in the subtle way the information comes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In the circles, you do the sound, a lot, sound healing, and the meditation, which is very good. I'll put the Flow of Light community Instagram on the description as well. And there's something else you're gonna do. You're gonna do courses.
Yeah. So with Becky, we are working on lots of projects, and we will be doing courses as well around how to access your own Akashic field. We will be doing lots of teachings about that. And Becky, she will be doing teachings about Reiki.
Yes.
So as well, many things are awaiting us and upcoming.
Yeah, very excited. Yeah, we've got some great people around us, isn't it? That we all work together in different courses. We all want to help people as much as we can in a different type of way, whether it's Reiki, or I do crystal healing, and the course is coming as well at some point. And you do the Akashic reading and sound healing, and it's such a beautiful community that we are building, right? It's very beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Basia, about the Akashic Records. I think it's very interesting. Like, it's hard to sort of have a vision with it, because it's energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely helpful to a lot of people. And I think that's the most important, that we all help each other and we can enhance each other's spirituality as well with that.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Tali Loz podcast. Next week we talk to Glenys about how to connect to your spirit guides.